One of the biggest gripes people have had with the Switch is the lack of any kind of wireless audio support. In fact, when there's been these rumors about a potential new Switch, a Switch 2.0, Pro Switch, whatever people want to call it, a lot of people want it to have Bluetooth audio. But that doesn't really do much for people that have already bought a Switch. Now, we've talked about a couple different ways you can address this fact. There's a lot of new accessories and adapters that have shown up to offer this kind of compatibility, and I'm really excited today to talk about the actual original accessory that really popularized this idea, the Genki. This was actually the original first big accessory to really talk about bringing Bluetooth audio to the Switch. It was on Kickstarter and Indiegogo, and it was a huge success. But because of that success, a lot of other companies tried beating the market with other options. And supposedly, despite those competitors, this is still supposed to be the best one out there. So we're gonna try it out, look at everything it offers, and really see how it compares to the competition. First, let's take a look at everything that comes with the Genki and what it's gonna do for you. So the main Genki adapter itself is a Bluetooth adapter for the Switch, and it is something that has been built from the ground up for the Switch specifically. A lot of the other ones that you're seeing on the market that are popping up for the Switch are really repurposed adapters that have just kind of been put together to work for the Switch, whereas this is a brand new one meant for the Switch specifically, and in fact supports Bluetooth 5.0, which offers a couple of very important differences. The most important is the fact that, like the other Bluetooth adapters we've talked about, this supports standard Bluetooth codecs as well as aptX, but also supports AAC. Now, if you don't remember what all that means, standard Bluetooth codecs are what most Bluetooth receivers use. aptX is something that some headsets support and gives you super low latency, which is really important for gameplay because that way the sound you're hearing in your headphones is lining with what you're seeing on the screen. Well, AAC is an additional format that is a lot more common than aptX, and while it does have a little more latency, it's still below the threshold for what most humans are capable of even noticing, and offers way better audio, and most importantly, is supported in a lot more headsets than aptX. One of the most interesting examples of this is AirPods. If you're an iPhone user and you own a pair of AirPods, those support AAC, and thus, you can use them with your Switch and have an awesome experience. Now, some additional handy features that this has, it does slot right into the bottom of the Switch, it draws power directly from the Switch and doesn't impact battery life at all really noticeably. I mean, it does drain a tiny bit, but it's not gonna affect performance at all. And it even has the ability to support two different headsets simultaneously. That's why we have these two different buttons right here, one for going to one headset, one for the other. And I really appreciate the fact too that you can tell they really designed this for the Switch because they even did the color matching for the neon Joy-Cons, which is a really nice touch. While you can buy the Genki by itself standalone like this, you can also spend a little bit more money to pick up a full kit that comes with a couple little extra accessories that I think really nicely round out the Genki. And they even come in this handy little Switch-style case that holds the Genki itself, along with all the extra accessories, and even a couple game cards as well. Now, the first of the accessories, and I think honestly the most important one, is this stand. So you'll notice that because the Genki attaches to the bottom of the Switch, you can't exactly put it in its traditional kickstand mode, one of the many weird design choices of the Switch, but with this little stand you're able to plug in the Genki and support playing in tabletop mode at the same time, which is really handy. Another really handy thing is this little USB adapter. This is so you can plug the Genki into this and plug it in your Switch dock so you can use it not only in handheld mode, but also in your docked TV setup. Lastly, if you want to make use of in-game chat for games like Fortnite, it also does come with this handy little boom mic that plugs into the audio jack, so you just plug this into the top of the Switch, put this at the bottom, you're getting audio in your wireless headset, and can communicate via voice chat with this little mic. So that's everything you get in the complete kit. Now that we've taken a look at all that, let's actually test out the Genki and see how it compares to past adapters we've used. So we're gonna test a couple different things simultaneously right now. I'm gonna connect two different Bluetooth headsets to the Genki and see how that functionality works, and I'm gonna use two different kinds. I'm gonna use the aptX headsets we used before for the Gully kit to make sure we still get that same performance on super low latency, but then I'm also gonna try it with a pair of Apple AirPods to see if we're gonna still have something that doesn't have any noticeable lag and give us better sound quality. So first, let's go ahead and sync these together. It's really simple. All you have to do is hit and hold the sync button for whichever headset you want, the blue or the red one, and then set whatever headset you're trying to connect to syncing as well. So we've got both synced up. Let's start with the aptX. Now, once again, I'm gonna test out by just playing a retro game that's very old school style because usually those are really easy to notice differences between sound and the image you're seeing because it's just a very simple thing. I attack with a weapon, I hear the sound right away. Yeah, this is seamless. I'm not seeing any drops. So this is just like we were seeing before when we were using the Gully kit. So now let's switch over to the AirPods on their own and see if we're gonna have that same kind of experience. Okay, so trying out the AirPods. Yeah, this sounds better, although that could just be because, you know, the AirPods sound better to begin with. Actually, really, yeah, it's a lot clearer audio compared to using the aptXs. But as far as the latency goes, it's definitely pretty seamless. I don't know if it's because I'm aware of the fact that AAC is a little more latency than aptX that makes me feel like maybe there's a little bit I can notice. This is still pretty seamless. I feel like It might just be because I know logically that these are slightly lower latency. Oh, I just died. I think you can, if you're really looking for it, I think with the aptX you can still notice that it's a little better and more seamless, but here it's so close, I honestly don't think it matters for most people. Like, you just wouldn't be able to even tell. Okay, so having them both connected, I am definitely getting lag on the aptX. These are the ones that are supposed to be super low latency, and I'm not getting that right now while both are connected. So it could be that we're having both is messing with its latency, so maybe the sharing headset idea is great for when you're not caring about lag. Okay, so apparently if you're using two headsets at the same time, you are gonna experience a little more latency, which if you're sharing with someone and you're playing a game that's not, super focused on making sure that you're not having any delay at all, not a big deal, and it's handy. But definitely if you're focusing on just getting the lowest latency possible for a single player game, you don't want to connect to anyone else. After checking it out, I gotta say, the Genki is definitely the best option out there. I mean, if you're just gonna rely on aptX headsets either way, the other options out there still work, but as far as supporting the widest range of possibilities, more headsets, and getting better audio quality, the Genki is definitely an improvement. Once again, you are going to notice a couple little latency problems if you're playing with shared headsets with someone else, but for a single player focused situation, especially for any kind of competitive games, this is a perfect solution.